Hi, one of the articles that I read this week kind of took a different perspective on this idea of ethics in regards to technology and focused more on how we can use different technology resources and trends in technology to really develop students' ethical thinking. And so I thought that was a very interesting perspective. When a lot of times we think about the implications of ethics and technology for us as adults, as teachers, administrators, but when looking at students, how do we develop their ethical thinking? And so, certainly, there are many advancements in technology. The article speaks to artificial intelligence, facial recognition, things like that as being good topics to have discussions about. And so, as we look down through this article, just looking at the how important it is that we embrace the opportunity to help students confront issues head on. And I know in my school, probably in your school, many of our students, if there's something maybe that they or their family disagrees with, they want to run the other way. Now, how do we teach students, expect students to really wrestle with these issues to strengthen their own understandings? And then here I highlighted it and I bolded. The writer speaks to reason justly and choose carefully. And those are skills that we want our leaders to think about. But I thought about the Bold School text that we've been reading and the rigor and relevance framework as students are working at the highest level of Bloom's, but then also engaged in conversations of real world application that'll probably be in that top right quadrant that we've been talking a lot about. But when looking at this work, when having some conversations, the article says many people confuse teaching ethics with teaching morality. And that was interesting. The preacher this morning in our sermon spoke about the difference between ethics and morality, more for the decisions that we make from the moral standpoint. But when looking at ethics, looking at just different ways of thinking and being non judgmental in those. As other people share their thinking, a plurality of perspectives and actions, realizing that maybe people don't think like we do, but that we can learn from them, and oftentimes solidify um, our own thoughts by having these conversations. Um, Practice ethical thinking and decision making. Certainly, that is very important for students. And I thought I like the connection here to students' SEL and so much of their social and emotional learning and how they see themselves can be strengthened and developed through these types of conversations. Having students, giving them the ability to make choices. And the article speaks to project based learning. I don't know a lot about project based learning, but I know that students have a lot of say in what they're doing. And when that is paired with them looking at the ethical implications of their work, I think there's great power for student learning there. Um, Practicing cognitive and emotional regulation. I mentioned earlier, a lot of times, I work with elementary and middle school students, but the middle school students in particular, if they encounter somebody that does not agree with them, they want to run the other way or say this is what I believe rather than have a conversation and have dialogue there. So allowing for multiple perspectives. Again, the article spoke about some topics that would be good for this type of learning and discussion: artificial intelligence, facial recognition technology, cybersecurity. Those are things that we hear about in the news. But I love, 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 and this is my favorite sentence in the whole article. It says, the very act of thinking through their own values and expressing them respectfully in a classroom community's marketplace of ideas complements their cognitive and emotional regulation. So, just the fact of thinking about what they believe, thinking about their values, and then having that community discussion can be so very powerful. Learning to build meaningful and reciprocal relationships with other peers in that classroom community. Article says the value of a community cannot be overstated. And when I think about things that are going on in our world today, everything seems so divisive, and a lot of things are very political today. You look at things such as masks and vaccines, or things that are taught in schools. I know North Carolina's um, having a lot of discussions about their social studies standards right now, and everything is so divisive. But realizing that the value of community and learning from and with each other, contributing to the conversation, can be so very powerful. So I'll put this link to this article in my post, but I thought it was interesting to kind of take a different perspective and what can we do to strengthen and build our students' sense of ethics through issues related to technology.